All right, let's talk about managed versus unmanaged data flows. All right, so in Inhouse Cloud, we do by default manage data flows with regards to form elements. So I'm going to pull in an input, and we're just going to take a look at the attributes. We have something called the app data field, and this is a managed. This is an unmanaged workflow, meaning that we manage this workflow for you. All right, so for to change this to, let's say, some text, just change what the field is named. That way we can easily understand uh, what we're looking at. And let's just change this to a number. Okay. And if I were to start typing, let's say 34, and I were to go to my app data and just look for some text over here, I see 34. So basically, this has been managed for us, right? So we control, the system controls this. All we just need to do, point out where we want this data to go, and the system does all the work for us. All right, so that's, an unmanaged data flow, which is the default. I'm just going to add some style into this just to make it look decent. We're going to make the width 50%, 50. We're going to center it, some margin at the top and bottom. And I'm going to click on Control and left to duplicate. Okay, so now I have, a duplicate of this. So what we're going to do is that one of these will be managed and the other will be unmanaged, right? So we're going to leave the top one unmanaged. So this is going to be the in-house system managing the data flows for this component, whereas this one here is going to be different. So what we're going to do here is this. We're going to go over here. We're going to give it a different app data field uh, name. Actually, this is not even important. This is not even relevant because we're managing this ourselves. We don't need that. So to manage our data flow, we just need to do is toggle this on. So I say manage data flow. I'm going to say, all right, I will manage it myself. All right. So what this means now is that I have to provide the value. So if I said here, let's say 30, right? So that's the value, right? So whatever I have here is what the value here is going to be. But obviously, we do not want to hard code this value. I mean, you might want to do that, but you probably would want it to be something programmatic. So let's do something very simple. So we're going to come over here and we are going to write a function. So we're going to say, let's see, we are going to write a function in our function builder. And I'm just going to call this function, let's see, let me just refresh the page, just make sure that I'm clearing all my caches. I'm going to open this up. All right. I'm going to call this function manage input data. Or I'm just going to call this function, yeah, I'm just going to call this function multiply by 6. Multiply by 6. Keep it simple. This function multiplies data by 6. I just say numbers. Create this. Do one step, call it logic. In the parameters, I'm going to add one parameter. I'm going to call this the path. This is going to be the app. I'm just going to call this app data field. And this is the path to the data we want to multiply by 6. Pretty simple. By default, this is going to be a number. Okay. And that's it. Just add that. So app data field. I'm going to add one step. It's going to be a straightforward step. It's going to be, let's see, how do we want to do this? Okay, we're going to return. I am going to grab the app data. Actually, no, so I want to grab app data actually. This is the data of your application. I am going to do a method. It's going to be the dot notation. So basically, if I were to give it a dot notation path, it will find wherever that data is within the object structure and it will pick it out. And I'm going to say that the path is going to be the app data field. And what we're going to do here is that the fallback value, we're going to set a fallback value of 0. And we are going to multiply by 6. Simple. Save. We're going to deploy this. We're going to come over here, back to this function, back to this input. Sorry. We're going to go to the value. We're going to say we want to set this to a function. We're going to say multiply by 6. And the app data field is going to be text. What's it called? Some text. So I actually I made a mistake in my function. I'm gonna fix that. I think in my parameters, the app data field is actually supposed to be a string. Okay, I'm gonna just save this and deploy this. And we are going to refresh the page. All right. So if I come over here and I say 35, voila, 35 times 6 is 210. If I say 100, 100 times 6 is whatever that is, 600. So if I just type random numbers, it gets the equivalent of that number multiplied by 6. So for this input is basically an unmanaged flow. All that's happening here is that whatever we set here is being set to our app data to the field called some text. Whereas over here, we are managing this ourselves. We basically set a function uh, to get the value. And it's really that simple. So you can see how you can build very programmatic, very neat applications very easily. All right. I'll see you in the next video.